Hello and welcome everyone, it's Shanna. We have got a couple of fun cards on today's video. We're using the Classic Mouse Wedding Bundle, and what I've got here is the Classic Mouse Wedding Etched die set. And there are 30 dies in this set. It is huge. And you get all of the elements that you need. You don't need to use any of your previous Classic Mouse dies because everything is included. In addition, you've got the Classic Mouse Wedding Accessories. This is part of the bundle as well. There are 20 cutting dies for it. You've got a cake, some rings, some champagne glasses, the the wedding bouquet, and some bell and some other embellishments. We've got a sentiment set that is a press and foil, and it's called the Classic Mouse Wedding Sentiments here. And there are all kinds of fun sentiments on there. You've got Mr. and Mrs. just married, once upon a time, happily ever after, and save the date. And you can press once and die cut once and get all of those, and I love that. And then we also have the Happiest Place press and foil plate. And this is gorgeous, and I'm showing you a couple panels here. I've already done my foiling. I didn't press them, but I foiled them, and I thought they turned out beautiful. And we're going to work with those, use those for our cards. So we're just going to get started. I've got my tray here, and I've got all my die cut pieces. And I've sped this up a little bit, and we are just going to get to assembling. I actually have this sped up to about 3 times the speed. So I'm just going to get the little mouthpiece on there. And I will tell you, I am following the guide, the assembly guide, so it may seem that I'm putting this together kind of in a weird way, but I am following the guide. I did put the faces together before I started following the guide because I know how they go. I've done plenty of Classic Mouse sets, and so they're a simple 3-piece head. You've got the mouth, the back of the head, and then the face that's the white, and I'm going to get those assembled. And then I'm going to pull up the instructions that are listed on Spellbinders website so that you can follow them and learn how to put them together. The instructions are always in the page or the picture area for the die set. If you click on the die set, scroll through the pictures, you'll find the assembly there. I'm trying to get that face where I wanted it, got it lined up there. Now we've got the bodies, and they're facing a particular way so that they can be looking into each other's eyes as they get married. So like I said, I'm just going to follow this step by step, and they have you go ahead and put the tail on the back of the boy mouse, and I'm going to actually start doing the shoes. It has you do the shoes first, and I'm doing the base layer of the shoes, which I've used a lighter gray, and then I'll bring in the decorative elements and we'll get these laid down. These are kind of like wingtip shoes is what they are. They've got the tips and the heels where you've got some decorative element there, and there's actually, 4 or 5 pieces that go with the shoes. So we'll get these laid down on there, and they'll start coming together, and they really have some nice detail. This little set has got some great detail with it. When we get to assembling the suit that the Classic Boy Mouse has on, it really has some great detail to it. I mean, there's layers in the jacket and the lapel and all of that, and it's just super cute. So I'm just getting the little tiny bit. There's 3 little tiny pieces that go on the shoes as well. The heel, and then, the top of the shoe or whatever. So next it calls for the pants. We're actually working from the feet up. And I'm going to get the pants laid down on there. And you can see one leg of the pant legs is longer than the other one. It's just because we've got the forward foot and then the backward foot. And next it has you put the sleeves on the arms, which normally I would assemble the arms and then put the sleeves on. But I am following the guide, and it comes together pretty easily when you do that. So I'm just going to position the sleeves on the arms and get them laid on there. Next, it calls for the back of the jacket. And so you're just going to line the arms up on the back of the jacket and then get it laid down on there. And then the next step it calls is for you to position the body in there. I had to lift that little hand up and just kind of tuck it in there, and then it kind of all comes together. So now I'm going to bring in the vest, and this vest has got like 3 little buttonholes on it, and it's got a little seam in it. So there's really good detail on it. And then I'm going to zoom up because I thought I need to zoom in for all these little bits and pieces. So I just zoomed in a little bit. We've got the vest on there. It doesn't quite look right until we get, I guess I don't know, the sides or the lapel or whatever. These are the sides of the jacket. And it's actually got some debossed detail on there because you've got the jacket's turned back and you've got a different color on the inside of it. So I'll lift this up and give you a look, but it's starting to come together. And now I've got the fog cardstock that I'm laying on the gray, and these are the little turn back lapel pieces, and I'm just getting those positioned on there, and they really add some great detail to it. And next I'm going to bring in, I've got a little red bow tie, and I'm just going to put a little glue on each side of it and just kind of attach it to the lapel of the jacket. And look at that, it's so cute. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get his hat put together because we're going to put his hat on because now it's calling for adding the head on the body. So we'll get our hat on there. I'm just adding the pop of red because our bride's going to have some red flowers and some red. So we're going to use this. I'm just going to bring in just a 1mm foam tape, and we'll just pop this little head up on there. And there we go. We've got our little groom. Isn't he cute? So cute. Now we're going to get to working on her. And we've got her little body and her little arms laying there. And it actually calls for the dress. It says to line the sleeves of the dress up with the V that is notched on the body there. And so I had a little glue on there. I moved it out of the way so I could make sure I saw that V really nice. Now I'm going, wait a minute, I'm not getting her arms in here. So I'm going to slide her in there to where I get her arms where I want her arms because I want them to be able to hold hands. And so I'm just maneuvering her arms to where she's reaching out and they'll be able to hold hands on the card. And so that's the basic dress. Now you can, there's her sash. She's got a red sash. You can leave a short dress if you want a short wedding dress, but there is a layered piece to make a longer wedding dress. I put a little bow on her sash, and I'm going to bring in her little tail. It says at this point you add the tail, and then you're going to bring in the longer piece of the dress. I should say the front portion because there's a portion for the back as well. So I needed to lift the shorter dress up, and you can line the detail right. There's etching in there so you know how to line it up. And then this is the back of the dress so that you've got the dress behind her, and her little hills are just barely poking out behind there, but it's a really detailed dress. Very pretty wedding dress. And we're going to get her little shoes on there. I made her shoes red to match her sash, her flowers, and her little bow. And we're going to get both shoes laid down on there. And they're just going to be peeking out from underneath her wedding gown. Cleaning off the glue. I paused a minute and went and did something, and I looked down at my hands and they were just covered in glue. So I washed my hands when I came back in. I actually had to take a break because Gunnar, I thought, was taking a nap, and I heard a big loud crash. And I don't know what the noise was, but he had gotten up and he decided he wasn't taking a nap. He wound up taking it later. I had to glue her. When I lifted her up, the foam piece stuck to the glass mat and it pulled her head off, so I had to glue it back down. But I'm using that release paper there just to keep it from sticking. And so we've got her headpiece, and I'm looking, there's like a crown that goes on the top of her headpiece, and I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. It was underneath that foam tape, and then I added it. So it's kind of like a clip to her veil or whatever. Now I'm going to assemble her bouquet. And there is a little piece that you put on the bouquet that is like the strings where they are attached. There's also a little triangle in the center of the bouquet that helps you line it up on the green portion. And I'm just going to tuck it in here. You wouldn't see the piece that holds the bouquet together. I didn't use it. It's laying in my tray. I'll look at it later and think, what is that? And then I'll realize that I didn't put it on there. Now this is our cake. I just used some matte gold treasured cardstock from Spellbinders to create the tray. I've got some white cardstock for the cake, and then I'm bringing in black. This is a very formal wedding with the black and the red, and so we're going to have some black icing on our cake, and then we're going to add some decorative elements. There is a die that die cuts out a whole bunch of hearts that you can use for decorative elements, and I'm going to use those to adorn our cake. Now we're assembling all of the pieces for both cards. I just thought assemble everything at once and then we'll come back in and assemble our cards. So we've got 3 hearts there laid on our strips. Now this cake at the very top has a little slit, and I'm poking my tweezers through there, and you can slide this double heart through there, and it shows you in the picture that it's done that way. And so I just slid it right down in there, and you've got 2 gold hearts on the top of the cake, and it's really cute. Now we've got a ring with a diamond, and then just a plain gold band, and we're going to assemble those. And you can put the diamond coming up from the bottom or the top, however you want to do it. I think I went with the top. I tried it both ways, and I liked it that way better. So we've got our rings. I used that same gold matte cardstock for the rings and for the bell and for the layer on the bell and for the bell ringer, and then for the wine glass. And we're going to just use some vellum to put, like, I don't know, some champagne in our wine glass. And I will go off camera and die cut another one out because I realized I need 2. You can't have a toast with just 1. So I'm going to put some gold on the foil of the champagne bottle, and then we'll bring in just a gold panel for our champagne. We've got some fancy champagne, and I'm going to put one of those red hearts on our champagne bottle as well, just to tie everything in together. Super fun. Now there is kind of a detailed bow in the accessories set. It's actually multiple layers. I think it's got 5 layers on it. And we've got these 2 large pieces that are like the ribbon, I guess. And then we've got 3 pieces of the actual bow part. The 2 layers, the bow center, and then we've got the hanging down part here that I'm laying down. And this is a really nice, I could see you using this with a lot of different things. It's really neat. And then I'm just going to put the centerpiece in there and get it laid down on there. And there we go. So I'm going to bring another one of those hearts in and put it on our bell. I'm going to put it on the clanger too. I just went a little crazy with the hearts, but I thought it's wedding cards, so we're just going to do it. So I took a little break and then came back, and we're going to get these cards assembled. I put a bow or a flower on her kind of little tiara thing. We're going to bring in our gold foiled panel, and I'm going to lay some gold on the back of it. I die cut out some things out of the center of this gold piece, so I'm just using the scraps. I don't like to waste. That Spellbinders treasured cardstock is nice, and I try to make the most of it. So we're going to get this laid down on there. We're going to have a nice gold frame around this. And you can see when I tilt it, there is some great shine on this. So we're going to get it laid down. I'm going to do a landscape style card because I need all the room I can get for these 2 lovebirds. And we'll get them laid down on there. I had a little bit of white poking off, so I took it off camera and chopped the white card base off so it wasn't showing. And now we're going to get them laid down on there. And I think the white of the dress, the white of their faces and stuff really helps to contrast because we've got this dark, dark panel with the gold on there. And I think it does work out. I just was trying to use the whole collection and just show you all of it kind of paired together. Now I am putting some foam on the back of their heads because there's quite a bit of dimension in their outfits. And I did put the foam piece when I connected their head. So I'm going to, add some foam so that we can get kind of level everything out. I'm putting a little glue underneath his hand just to get it tucked in there, but I didn't give it a good enough press. I need to press it down a little bit more. So we're popping her up again, and we're going to get her laid down much like him. And I'm going to be very careful as I lay them down so that their hands intertwine perfectly, and it looks like they're actually holding hands. I mean, it really comes together nice. It's nice how they made that die set fit so nicely like that. And so I'm just going to put a little glue in between them so their hands stay together. And I think it's really, really cute. Now, I took my documenting labels die set from Spellbinders, and I die cut out some frames in gold and in black. And I also did in red for that other card. And I just layered the gold on top of the black, and then we're going to use our black and gold foiled Just Married sentiment. And I actually chose to use the Just Married on both of these cards because they fit nicely on the panels that I used. But we certainly have all of those other sentiment options if we would want to choose to use those as well. But I liked these and I thought they worked out nice. So I'm going to get my Just Married laid down on there. Without all that foil, I don't think you need anything else. So we're going to go on to the next panel and get it laid down. I've just got a red card base, and you can see I have die cut out that sentiment backer piece there right out of the center of that. And we're going to use that to lay our Just Married down on in the red. I'm just going to get this laid down on my card base, and then we will bring in all of the fun elements and just create another card. And I'm going to have 2 wedding cards ready just in time for wedding season. I don't know about your areas, but June is typically the wedding month around here. So I've got a piece of vellum that I have die cut out, and I'm just going to add my cake and my elements to this so that I will be able to have a spot, spots, I should say, to glue my vellum down so that you won't see it. And I chose to go with vellum because I really wanted to show off that press panel, the pressed panel. I didn't want to cover up all of that because I think it's super fun. And I was really just trying to show it off. So I'm going to get my champagne bottle laid down on here. I'm going to get my 2 champagne glasses. I'm going to have them kind of in the position like they're toasting each other. And we're just laying the accessory elements on this card. And then I'm going to kind of eyeball it and see what we're going to do. We still have our rings, our bow, and then our sentiment to get laid down on here. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and get it laid down on there. I just put glue behind the elements so that you wouldn't see it. And then my bow is going to help hold the top part of it down because we're going to have some glue on there for that. And then my sentiment and my rings will help hold down the other area of the vellum. And so we won't have to worry about glue peeking out, and you can still see that fun panel behind there with all of that foil on there. So just getting some glue on there, and it's going to just tack down that vellum. You wouldn't necessarily have to use that bell up there. I had die cut it out, and I thought we're going to use it. So I'm using the other half of the strip that I used to pop up my other sentiment to pop this one up. Again, we went with the Just Married. We're going to lay it down on that panel. That's from the documenting labels. And we'll just get it glued up and laid down on here. Then all we have to do is add our rings. And so I'm just kind of positioning them how I want. And I'm trying to tuck some glue in underneath there and then kind of give them a press. And then we'll just get them laid down on our vellum. And just give it a little press. And for this one, we had a little bit of wide open space above our champagne glasses and bottle. And so I had some black gems from Spellbinders, and I'm just going to bring 3 of those in and get them laid down above our champagne and our glasses just to kind of fill in some space there. And I think that'll be a nice finish to our card. And so I think they're super cute. I have taken some pictures. This one shows a little bit of the foiling. I think the next one will show a little bit more. There we go, a little bit more foiling there. And it's super cute. Another fun classic mouse set. And then we've got all of our accessories here with our black and white pressed foil panel. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.